And we are live. What's going on, people? Welcome to another live show
Let's get it. What's going
with
on?
me, Chris Lebron, and I got a special guest with me today. Another Chris, right? We got two
Oh
Chris's in
yeah.
the building. We got Chris Bolton. What's
What's good,
going on,
everybody?
man?
What's up with it, Chris?
Nothing, man. We've been wanting to get this for since the draft ended. To chop it up and talk about the draft and the free agency's been going
Awesome.
crazy, so we
It's
got
a
a
good
lot,
it's a good
you know.
thing we saying we let everything marinate, let all the moves happen. We got a lot to talk about, bro.
Yeah. I wanted to wait a little bit because I'm like you said, like, we could have done this the day after, but we've seen there's a whole lot of stuff going on.
Man,
So
it's been some trades made and then it's been
yeah,
some trades reneged. They took it back. They say, you know what,
exactly. We thought
we can't
guys
make it
were
happen.
going this place, and then we found out that you can't do that. There's tampering. You can't do that. So, it's been a crazy week, of basketball and all the news. And, finally the draft happened, right? Finally,
Right, finally.
finally the draft happened. So let's go right into that, Chris.
Yeah.
NBA draft, I've had you on my show, a few times. We did the
hmm
solo pod, and then, we did the mock draft, last week.
Right.
So, obviously, it finally happened. Draft finally, occurs. Was there anything that shocked you in this draft? I know this is a draft where we kind of knew where guys were going to go, and like with top 10 and all that, but we didn't know where. So, and we knew
Right.
there was such a wide range where guys could go too. So, for you, was there anything that just was like, whoa? Was there that whoa moment for you in this draft? Was that Bill Simmons whoa for you in this draft?
Low key, when Chicago took Patrick Williams,
I think
that's
that's
why I
that
was like,
one.
oh, okay, the draft started now. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
We kind of expected Ant Man, Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, LaMelo Ball. We didn't know which order, but we expected
Yeah.
those three. To be the top three guys. But when Pat Williams was taken fourth, I was like, okay, yeah, the NBA draft is started now. So that was my
Mhm.
whoa moment.
Yeah, that was because we started hearing the rumblings that he was going to go top 10, right?
Right, that was one thing.
I was
Then you heard
hearing as high
seven.
as yeah, I heard as high as the Knicks. The Knicks at 8 and interested, and that kind of scared me. No lie, no disrespect to him, but I was like, no, like we can't get another project, right? Because
hmm
he's super gifted, right? He's gifted. He
hmm
can do some things on defense. He's built like a tank,
Right.
but can the Knicks afford to take another guy who's a project, right? I
hmm
don't think they could
hmm
afford to take that. So I kind of got scared. But then, and a lot of people said Chicago, I kind of thought Chicago, we knew, all right, Anthony Edwards was going to go one, all right, Wiseman
hmm
two, and then LaMelo three, right? So we kind of had a feel that was going to be the top three. So the
Right.
draft kind of started with Chicago, right? So it was either going to be Denny,
Right.
people thought Benny,
You're
maybe guys like
Killian.
Okoro, Killian, maybe Obi Toppin. We thought it was one of those guys. I just don't think we thought Patrick Williams was going to be the pick. So when that happened, I got kind of excited because for my team, my Knicks, I was like, okay, we're gonna get my guy Killian, or we're gonna get Toppin. So I was kind of, but like you said, not that it was like, oh my god, like why did that happen? Like it wasn't like that crazy because a
No,
lot of
no.
people projected him to be a lottery pick, right? But
hmm
it was kind of like, okay, that was interesting to see what they did. I mean, they could use a wing, yeah, but we thought they would go the Denny route. They needed a wing or something like that. So
Right, right.
it kind of was like, oh, okay, but you still were like, okay,
It was a curveball. It was a
yeah, it
curveball.
definitely
Yeah.
was a curveball because you see the potential, right? The potential that could be, it could pay off,
He
but
does
it
have a nice
also,
potential. He does.
but it,
It-
but it
I'm.
also is scary, right?
It
Because
is
the
scary, man, because
potential could get you fired.
he he's going to a situation where it's not just a clear cut path that for his how he's going to be used as a player. They have some guys. They have Wendell Carter. They have
Mhm,
Laurie Markkinen, guys that are they've invested high draft capital on, and
mhm.
they are young guys who've been developing, and we're curious to see how they pan out. But this is a new front office, so they're making their stamp right here, and they decided to go with Pat Will. And well, I'm just curious to see where he's going to be played. Some people say he's a 3. He could be a wing. I see him more as a 4. So I'm curious to see if he's played in that power 4, that 4-man spot. So
Yeah,
I'm very curious to see how his development goes.
yeah. But like I said, it was definitely a curveball for sure. I wasn't something I expected, and it kind of changed. Especially a team like
The
the
draft
Knicks.
started from that point on, man.
Yeah,
The guys
started
teams
there.
had to adjust.
That's for sure. And listen, in every draft, we're always gonna get that one, like especially in the lottery, you're gonna get that one pick where you're just like, okay, all right, we didn't see that coming, right? We've done this, Chris.
We
We've
got
done this.
another one in this draft with that.
Yeah, yeah. We've had a few.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Phoenix taking Jalen Smith, the big out of Maryland.
That was
They
another one.
took him top 10, and they just, they have Aiden, who's their franchise center, someone they invested the number 1 pick on. So I'm curious to see how they play those two. You definitely have to assume the plan is for them to play together, to be on the court at the
Exactly.
same
Yeah, yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
I'm curious
maybe
to see how that plays out.
With Aiton, expanding his game because we saw, especially in the bubble, his ability to shoot, from the perimeter, which is something like, we've talked about this before. Like Aiton, everyone was waiting for Aiton to take that like Karl Anthony Towns next step,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Shooting some at the perimeter, and we saw that in the bubble. So I think that maybe they're just like, okay, maybe he can, we don't, have him be more play perimeter, shoot some, some jump shots and some threes, and we can have Jalen Smith just protect,
And
and just clean up
and
down
vice
low.
versa. I mean, Jalen Smith
And
is
vice versa.
someone
Yeah, because
you've been
Jalen Smith can
watching in
shoot.
college. He's got the 3-point shot. So
Mhm.
I'm definitely thinking that's their mindset going into this. Having those two bigs. They're going to do that.
Oh yeah, and then with the addition of CP3 to go along with Mikal Bridges and obviously Devin Booker. I mean,
Cam
Cam
Johnson.
Johnson who could shoot. This Suns team, like we said, like they go from a team going into the bubble where people are like, all right, Monty Williams may not last, and
Mm-hmm.
like Devin Booker might be on the trade block, and
Right, right.
oh my God, they
It,
took Eaton over Luca and all this, right? All these Cam, they took Cam.
mhm.
That was because that was one of those moments last
That
year, right?
was a
When Cam
surprise
went
pick. Yeah,
lottery, it was
yeah.
like whoa, like people had him like maybe late first, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely like the second round, and boom, he went in the lottery. And then they took off. They went 8 straight in the bubble. They won all the games in the bubble. Just barely missed out on the playing game. And now they're making moves. And now it's like this Suns team's on
They
top.
season the moment, man. They feel like they really hit on something in that bubble.
Mhm.
That bubble is either gonna make you or break you. Some teams
Yep.
came better together, pull together, and the Suns were one of them. And now they're carrying that momentum into this offseason and trying to make some fire moves. Like you said, you bring in CP3, and it's gonna be fun to see this Suns team with a floor general like Chris Paul. You got
Hmm.
two guys like Chris Paul and Booker that you can depend on in the final minutes to bring home some wins. So I'm definitely ready to see how this team plays, especially in crunch time. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. And to have a guy like CP3 who can just orchestrate the offense and not have, and Booker can move off the ball and just do more damage that way, especially with Mikal and Cam and eight. I mean, this Suns
Yeah,
team is
we
fun
can
to
see him
watch.
get back to some of his like Kentucky roots. You know how they
Yeah,
used him
yeah,
off ball, bring him off some off ball screens, some down screens, and get him some easier looks. We've seen
yeah.
Book's been having to cook. Saying he's been able to have to create for himself. Now Chris Paul can get him some easier looks, and
Exactly.
there's no telling what kind of how efficient Book can be this season with a PG like Chris Paul.
The
So
sky's the limit. It's like and Chris wanted to go there too.
yeah,
He wanted to
yeah,
play with Book, so that's even more encouraging. Like
and,
he
and
wanted to play with Book. Like it's gonna be fun to
And
see.
he can give him some of those intangible skills, that leadership that Chris Paul has to
Mhm.
take Book to another height. We've seen him make the leap to become an All-Star last year. Man, I mean, is it out the realm of possibility he becomes All NBA? I don't think so.
No, it's like you said, like just like that, just like that. They everything turned around and boom, we're talking about them as a playoff team. I think they're going to be a playoff team.
Oh
I
yeah,
truly believe they're a playoff team. Adding CP3
same.
and Book keeps getting better, which is scary, and then Aiton's getting better, which is scary. Bridges
Bridges
is
getting
getting
better.
good.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah, like, it's good times to be in Phoenix. I mean, dude, at one point, this was one of the worst franchises in all of basketball, right? People. You talk to bottom tier franchises. You talk about Minnesota, and unfortunately, my New York Knicks, and Phoenix is up there, and
yeah,
now but it also shows that it can get fixed.
yeah.
Turning it around, it's
It
possible.
takes time, but you get the right people in place. You know what I'm saying? You start making some smart moves, some
Hmm.
solid picks, get a little lucky along the way.
Luck's the
They
big
didn't
part of it.
expect. I'm pretty sure they didn't expect Book to become the player he is, pick 13 in the lottery. But
I
hey,
don't
here
think
we
I
are.
don't think anyone saw that, bro. If that was the case, he probably goes to the Lakers.
Right,
I mean,
right.
but that's all. It's all we talked about this realistic. It's all about good scouting, having good player development, coaches and all that, because they got Book at what, 13, and
Look
they
at
got themselves
13.
an all NBA type player who's going to be a perennial All Star, for years to come. So it's just
Hmm.
you just got to know how to get these guys. You could find them. You could find them later. Like, you just don't have to rely on, top five picks.
You don't have to trust the process and always get a number one overall pick.
Yeah, and just because look at trusting the process, like, yeah, you got you Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, but there's a lot of misses there.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a
yeah.
whole misses.
There's a Nerlens Noel in the mix.
Yeah, there's a trading the number 3 pick to move up to 1 to get Markel Fultz,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
when you could have had Jason Tatum right there.
right. So
It,
definitely,
it,
definitely.
it's the Suns are definitely doing good things. Was there anything else that shocked you in this draft, in this that was like, oh, okay, I didn't see that coming?
There was a lot of bigs taken in the first round, I believe. I wasn't. I guess maybe these teams, the resurgence of the big man is coming back. Maybe at least defensively, teams are
Mm-hmm.
looking at maybe what the Lakers did, and you have
With the Lakers thing, really
Anthony
got things
Davis and
going.
stuff, and you maybe think, we need some bigs to just some bodies to throw at guys like AD and Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's the thing I picked up from the draft. Teams maybe kind of moving towards that side of trying to get ahead of the curve and seeing what the Lakers and other teams have going on.
Yep, and you still need size to win in the NBA. You
Yeah, you
still
do.
need big men.
You do.
Some people like, oh, you can win a small ball, and we saw what the Rockets were doing, and it's like, well, guess what? The Rockets went up against LA, and guess what happened? They got
I
bounced
mean,
in.
it's great when it's working, but then when some players get hurt, you get Westbrook gets hurt, other guys, Daniel House had his situation going on. So when everything gets thrown off course, and now you don't have no bigs to fall back on, we see what happens.
Exactly. And like you said, you see Jalen Smith go top 10, like, and I like Jalen Smith a lot, but it was, I thought he was going to go maybe late teens, 20s,
Yeah, the
but
earliest I saw him was maybe with the Pelicans.
mhm.
With throwing a big like him who could stretch the floor, with Zion who loves to can drive and let him dominate the paint. I didn't see the Suns Smith pick coming, but they know something we don't. We'll see how they make this thing work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's talk about number 2. So if you guys don't know, Chris is a big time Warriors fan. He's not a front runner from what I know, right? You didn't start
Yeah, yeah.
at
Started
2014.
back in the gap with Monte. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. Which was some fun days. Those We Believe teams. Definitely.
Steven Jackson, baby,
Steven
BD, Baron
Jackson
Davis.
and B Diddy when he dunked on Karolinko. That dunk that's probably up
I need
there.
that poster.
I need that. I need that. I need to get that moment. I need that in the wall, like a mural, because I used to run that on repeat, like constantly. Just him, and then he takes his jersey off, and he's just like,
Oh man.
that was a crazy moment in the Bay. But the Warriors, they went on and they took James Wiseman with the second pick. There's a
They
lot of
did.
rumors that they were going to may possibly trade, but then we had the unfortunate news right before this, right? And I remember I'm driving home, and you hear it first get reported something bad happened to Clay with his
Yep.
leg, and then you hear the reports that it wasn't good. He couldn't walk, and then we get the
As
official
soon as
report.
they said he couldn't walk,
It was
my
bad.
mind went to Achilles.
And then they said he reached for his leg, and it's like, that's not good. And then we got the official that it was in his Achilles.
Yep.
So it may have halt any possible moves they probably made, but they took James Wiseman with the second pick, and it would have been fun to see Clay and all that, but Clay won't be there. So how'd you feel about James Wiseman with the second pick?
Well, it wasn't my preference. Of course, I would have liked Golden State to, I'm pretty sure, like you said, they were trying to maybe possibly trade down. It's been rumors of that. I would have liked them to trade down. Unless you're like, Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Davis, a type like that we know. Oh, excuse my bad. There we go. That we know can be like a franchise big. I'm not sure if Wiseman will be that. And so that's why it's not sitting well with me that we took him second overall. But, he can be he does feel a need. That athletic big pick and roll with Steph, someone who can get you easy putbacks, defend the paint, be a rim protector, kind of like how Bogut was for Golden State during the championship run. So I can understand it from that standpoint. And plus, he's an athletic freak. You see somebody like that working out, it's going to be tough to be like, hey, we're going to pass up on this guy for someone else. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the pick, but I understand.
Yeah, and it's they did need a big, right? And
yeah.
Obviously, there's not a lot of film on him, and we talked about that a bunch of times. Not a lot of film on him. Only played 3 games this year in college, but with a lot of guys in this draft, you're just banking on that potential, right?
That's what it is. And like we mentioned this before, if there's a draft to swing for the fences and go off potential, it's this one. You never know what a player can pan out to be, and nobody's gonna look at you crazy if nobody's really expecting this draft to produce a bunch of all NBA guys. So if you take a swing for a player and it doesn't work out, I think it'll be forgiven in this draft.
Yeah, for sure, especially in this draft, like you said, but with a lot of uncertainty and the Wiseman, if there's a spot, I think if there was a spot, that fits well, it is Golden State with the leadership, he's going to be able to learn Draymond and Steph, and
there's teams in the NBA where when a player gets drafted, you're like, okay, if it doesn't work out there, it's a problem. The Spurs, the Raptors, Golden State, teams like that. So, I feel like if Wiseman is going to become that all NBA guy, that since he's a Warrior now, I'm hoping for. He's one of my guys now. I'm not going to talk bad about one of my guys. You know what I'm saying?
And you're not used to this, so it's it's different, right? You're so used to like whatever. You don't even know who the draft pick is at most of the times, right?
Man,
like, all right, we got Steph, we got Clay, we got KD. We don't care who the
We ain't worried about this pick, but no, if he's going to become something, it'll definitely be with Golden State.
Yeah. And he's going to be taught well, and they got good vets there. And obviously, you got all-star MVPs there, and Steve Kerr, great coaches, and they got good. I think he'll, if he's gonna do great somewhere, it's gonna be. I think this is a good spot for him to learn. He's not gonna have to force to be the guy. He's gonna.
They're gonna tell him, do this and that, and then when the off season comes, he continues working on his skills, and maybe by year 3, 4, 5. Once Steph is older, Clay, Draymond, those guys are older. Maybe kind of like the San Antonio way. Once those guys get older, that's when we saw Kawhi take that leap. Maybe it's possible for Wiseman to take that leap as well once those guys get older.
For sure. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Like you said, you guys haven't been through this.
Man, it's messing with me. Clay being hurt. I don't even know what to expect for the season anymore, but we're gonna compete.
Oh yeah, and Steph's coming out guns blazing.
Yeah,
he's coming out guns blazing.
His name been a little too quiet in the streets. He's got to wake everybody back up.
But isn't that crazy? Like Steph Curry's name has been quiet.
When
does that happen? That doesn't happen.
Man,
always you always hear about him in MVP discussions or just in the league, but they took that year off. And I think obviously you don't want to not play because of injuries and all that. But and it's unfortunate with Clay. But they kind of needed that year off.
Oh yeah,
Like, they burnt
definitely.
out.
Especially, we watched The Last Dance.
When you saw how
MJ
was
and them, he said, man, they was burnt out. They was tired. He needed that break.
Mm-hmm.
So, these guys nowadays, I can imagine the same thing. And now you engage Steph, Draymond. People been doubting Draymond. He's been falling off. Can he be like how he was in 2016? Where's that Draymond? Now you're giving guys, these athletes, star athletes, motivation. They've been on top of the world, winning chips. Now they're getting back to getting that motivation they need.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah. Because listen, when you're Steph Curry and you're a 3-time champion and you're a 2-time
unanimous MVP,
like he still has things like damn well he wants that a Finals MVP. He hears it. Damn well he hears people saying, you got all this, but you never won Finals MVP, KD, blah. So that's just irking his soul, and he wants that. So,
right. No matter how humble he is, these guys, man, they star athletes, bro. They got pride. You don't make it this far without pride.
Exactly. So there's definitely motivations for him, and he's gonna want to step up and do it for Clay because that hurt me, man. That really did hurt me. Clay's getting hurt. I mean,
it hurt everybody. Who doesn't like Clay?
Exactly. And I posted that. I posted that a few days ago because I was listening on the radio. I was listening to NBA on Sirius, and they were like, "Does anyone not like Clay?" You never hear like anyone even like say anything remotely bad about Clay.
He goes to work, he hoops, goes home, minds his business, kicks it with Rocco. Everybody know he has his dog. Rocco.
Yeah. He's just universally liked by everyone, and you saw everyone pour out. LeBron, you name it, they all poured out and was like, hoping for the best with the injury. But unfortunately, and it's going to be tough. He's coming off the ACL, and then now you got an Achilles to the other leg. It's like,
man, I have personal experience. I tore my Achilles playing ball, so I kind of. Yeah, man, it's a process. You know what I'm saying? It took me over a year to get back to playing ball like I was, but I definitely think he was working so hard to get ready for the season, and sometimes I had to catch myself doing this with my own recovery. You catch yourself putting more weight on one leg compared to the one you tore you messed up. So I think, he's probably going so hard and putting a lot on the other leg because that's the one where he's torn his Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
He tore his ACL in, was it the left leg? And now it was the right leg.
The right leg.
The right leg. So, tore his ACL in the right leg. Now you tear your Achilles in the left. So tough break for Clay. But hey, if there's anybody who could bounce back from anything like that, 2 injuries of those sort, it's Klay Thompson.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And we're all rooting for him to come back, and hopefully he comes back. And unfortunately, we got to wait another year to see him, year plus possibly. But it's definitely unfortunate. But they still got talent on that team.
Oh yeah, you pick up Oubre. He's a nice piece. Someone to throw out there. You got Wiggins. There's still some guys there. There's still some talent.
Yeah,
they're definitely gonna make the playoffs, I think, and anything can happen from there.
Exactly, and you still got Steph Curry.
Hey, bro, as long as you got Steph, you good.
You still got Steph Curry. He is still an MVP type player. Just because he took a year off doesn't mean nothing.
How many points do you think he's gonna average this season?
He's getting over 30 a game.
You think 30?
I think he's gonna have one of those like when Westbrook lost Durant and he just went bananas. It's going to be something like that.
You got him finishing top 3 MVP race.
If I had right now, I would say he's a top 3 MVP. He's going to have there might be a 4 or 5 seed, but I think he's going to lead this team, and it'll be more impressive what he does this year than those 2 MVP years because. With no Clay, I mean that's a big loss. That
is a big loss. Yeah,
and then you got to rely on.
That's half the Splash Brothers. We got one Splash Brother now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And now Wiggins is gonna feel it too because now Wiggins has to step up where he was.
You got to earn that bread.
Exactly. Like, you make a lot of money, and you're gonna go in with a nice role, be the third dude, no much pressure. Now it's nope. You're the Robin, right? Like, you're
Right, right. You're the second guy on the perimeter. You know what I'm saying? We need you to create. Yeah.
So it's
So,
gonna be interesting to see how that all meshes, but they know what they're doing. They know what
oh
they're
yeah,
doing there. So they'll figure it out. And Steph, and he's got a lot to prove. So
right.
I'm not it's a tough loss, but obviously they're gonna be good. They're gonna be fine. I still think they're a playoff team.
Hmm.
Maybe it hurts that their shot at getting to a finals, but they're still make some noise in the playoffs.
Definitely, definitely. Now, when we talking about the draft, do you have some draft day winners? Who you really like their draft coming out of this?
You know what? I like Detroit's draft. I hate the free agency. I hate what they're doing it free. They ruined it. They ruined it for themselves. Everybody was like, Detroit had such a good draft. Oh, they got Killian. They got
Yeah,
Bay. They did
that,
so
I
good.
like that a lot. Killian and Sadiq Bey. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm like, that's a really good draft, and they ruined it in free agency because they don't know what they're doing. But yeah, I like Detroit's. I like Detroit's draft a lot. They did good things. Who else? I like what the Knicks did. I like what my Knicks did. I'm really like, obviously, I wanted to go with and get the Killian Hayes. Like that was, and
hmm
once Patrick Williams happened, I thought it was happened, but Detroit takes him, and but I still like to pick Emmanuel quickly. I think that's a guy who comes in and could contribute right away. But Toppin, I didn't think he was going to happen. I didn't think that was going to happen unless they traded and and they got their guy without having to trade.
they did. They did.
So
He fell in their lap.
we
So
fell right to us. That was not something that I thought was going to happen. I didn't even bother with Toppin to the next. I thought there was no way he's getting past Detroit, so there's no point. And I thought Killian was going to go to Chicago. So and then, but like you said, we got that curveball, with Chicago taking Patrick
hmm
Williams, and it kind of changed everything. And we got. I mean, the fact that then he went 9 to the Wizards. I mean,
that could
that
that
might be the steal of
big.
the draft.
It might be. We might be looking back like, wow, Denny 9. How did this happen? That's how I feel about San Antonio. I really like San Antonio's draft. Of course, I'm a big Vassell guy, so they
So
got Vassell at
he's a
11.
Spurs guy, right? And to me, when they took him, I'm like, he's a Spurs guy. He's going to be 10-year vet. He's going to be just a good player for them. He's fit perfect what they're doing.
He is, and look, we saw them develop Kawhi. And if there's a team that can develop someone and maybe
Mhm.
unleash some star potential that people don't necessarily see, because nobody saw Kawhi Leonard becoming Kawhi Leonard.
Nope.
He
Nope.
was an
No one saw
athlete,
that.
very strong, played hard at San Diego State. And everybody's like, if he gets a shot, though, he might could be something, but you're at least getting someone who's
Mhm.
going to play hard. And
Yep.
to see what he is now. So we'll see, I'm a big Vassell guy. I think, 5-6 years from now, we're going to really be looking back like, Vassell went 11. Wow. And then they got Trey Jones. We're Duke guys.
Duke, my Duke guy, our Duke guy.
A Duke guy, Trey Jones, you know what he's going to come to do. He's going to play hard, play great defense.
Mhm.
He's proven he can hit some shots. He's just one of those guys who's going to be in the NBA for a long time. Speaking of 10-year vets, Trey Jones is going to be in the NBA for a long time.
Oh yeah, and he's one of the best on-ball defenders. Like he's got hands. He just gets right in you. So he fits
Mm-hmm.
with the Spurs do, great. So he's gonna fit in. Those are the most Spurs pick, right? Like those are two guys.
When I looked at the draft, I was like, yeah, that if I just saw those two names and didn't know what team they were drafted by, I'd be like, San Antonio. And here we are.
Exactly. Like San Antonio did really good, and then I like Vesta a lot. He was a top 10 guy for me. So they get a guy who's a 3-and-D guy, and they were not scared about the video. They were not stressed out about the video like a lot of other people were stressed out about the video.
Hey man, I mean, you got what 2 seasons worth of games, and you got a 20-second video. I'm not gonna change how I think about somebody off a
People,
20-second clip.
it's crazy. People were freaking out. I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
I didn't get it, and then they clarified it, like, oh, they were just working on something, and and even though they probably shouldn't have put that out, whoever that was control of the tape, they probably should have got fired or whatever. But it didn't obviously didn't
It didn't hurt him too
change.
bad. He
It
still win
didn't
the lottery.
exactly. He still goes very high, and he goes to a great place, San Antonio, where he's playing with arguably one of the greatest coaches of all time. And that system is friendly to him. So he's going to contribute from day one.
Exactly.
He's going to contribute from day one and play some good minutes. So that definitely, San Antonio. And another team where they're not in that position, right? So they're not familiar with drafting at 11, right? Same thing with the Warriors. They're not used to drafting that high.
Mm-hmm.
And they hit it. They hit a home run.
They did. You can get some good players at 11. I mean, I know this. Golden State, Klay Thompson. Number 11th overall pick. Mm-hmm. So, we'll see what happens with San Antonio. Someone else, I really like Dallas's draft.
They got Tyrell Terry at 31, man.
At 31. It's crazy.
Let that happen.
That's why I was looking at the draft. Like, Terry is really falling. Like, he's not going to get drafted in the first round. What's going on here? But hey, it's gonna be. It could be another blessing in disguise. He goes to a great situation. You got someone like Luka Doncic. Speaking of MVP candidates, Luka's gonna come in and be one of the top guys in the MVP race. You playing beside him, so you don't have to be the lead PG. You don't have to run the offense. You just go out there, play ball, and he's hungry. He's gonna be looking at the NBA like, wow. So I'm a second round pick, huh? Y'all, 30 guys went ahead of me. Because that's how these guys think, man. You got to have that motivation. You got to psych yourself up. And if you're going to take your play to another level, that's the kind of stuff you got to do. So I like that. I love that pick. Still the draft.
How did you feel about Charlotte's draft? I kind of low-key like their draft a lot.
I liked it a lot.
I like, obviously, LaMelo goes 3, and then they take Duke guy. They took Vernon.
Nick Richards
in a second, and then they take Grant Riller, right? They got Grant Riller.
They got Grant Riller at the end of the second.
Got Grant Riller at like 56, right?
Yes, at 56. Mm-hmm. I like their draft a lot.
I couldn't believe they got Grant Riller that late. I mean, they're gonna score some points. They might not play defense, but they're gonna score some points. They're gonna be league pass team.
One of my homeboys, he told me, like, if you're a bad team, the least you could do is just run. Just get out on the break, run, and try to score buckets. So they're not the best team, but they're gonna be fun. They're gonna fun. They're gonna get in transition with LaMelo.
They're gonna be exciting. Oh, once we knew Anthony Edwards was gonna go 1, I'm like, okay, it's probably not gonna go to Golden State. I'm like, Charlotte would be silly to pass up on him. He's gonna be box office for them. Whenever the world gets back to some type of normalcy, and we're allowed fans,
we can go to games.
We can go to games. Remember that? I was watching a Knicks game today, and it's like, I'm like, oh man, we ain't gonna see that. But whenever we get back to some type of normalcy, so you're gonna see a lot of LaMelo. I think what number he's wearing? 3.
Is it 3 or is he trying to get 1?
Probably, yeah.
I saw Zoe tweet somebody about number 1, but
I think it probably is 1. So you're gonna see a lot of number 1 jerseys in Charlotte. And I think that has a lot to do with why they selected him. Like, obviously, he's a talented kid, and he can bring a lot to your team. But
it's a win-win both sides. It makes basketball sense and it makes business sense.
Exactly. It makes too much business sense. They need to replace that we're losing Kemba last year, and they just need talent, and to get a talent that's going to bring butts in the seats, because no matter for good or for bad, people are going to go to Charlotte games and be intrigued,
And right now, if they can't go to the game, they're going to be tuned into the broadcast.
The jersey, I would not be. It wouldn't surprise me if LaMelo's jersey, whenever they do the jersey sales, it hits.
Is it going top 10?
I think it's top 10, man. I think because first of all, it's a dope jersey. First of all, those Charlotte,
it is tough. It is
tough. I love the Charlotte Hornets jerseys. Like those are definitely like top 3 favorite jerseys. Like Orlando, has some dope jerseys. But
of course, Miami, the Vice City joints.
The Vice City joints are nice. But That's a nice
It is a
jersey.
fire
It's
jersey.
a
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
jersey, and so. But I think it made business sense. It does make sense to add him. Like people were bringing up like with Graham and having Rozier. I'm like that's not gonna to me that does not gonna affect your draft plans. Like that's not gonna stop you from taking LaMelo. Like
No,
Dante
man.
and that
If you see someone as a franchise talent, having someone who's good right now is not going to
Mhm,
stop you from taking someone who could be a franchise generational type of player. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
That's not how we look at these things. So,
No,
and plus, I can see LaMelo and Graham on the court together. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
LaMelo has size, with Graham being a smaller guard. And,
mhm.
we see how the NBA is. Teams love having, dual playmakers, two guys who can both operate the offense. So I see it working out fine.
Yeah, I think it was a good move, and we might get the matchup we all want to see. We might get Triple B's versus MJ. We might see who's going to be the official GOAT. I think that's the most anticipated matchup everyone wants to see. We might
Hey,
finally get
we
to
might
see
get it.
LeVar
We
versus
might get it.
Jordan.
We're gonna
That might
see.
be pay-per-view worthy right there.
Look, that is pay-per-view worthy. You
Okay,
know what I'm saying? I drop 50 to see it.
I'll drop money. I mean, Jordan's probably like, okay, all this, I love all this right now. I'm getting because listen, Jordan has made a lot, and listen, we could talk about. Well, and we'll get into the the move he made, but you know, uh, Jordan needed something like this. He needed a home run, and I think he hit a home run getting well. And then, like you said, getting Grant Riller late, and then Vernon Carey, big. I know, people got on Vern because of the defense and all that, but he's still a talented big.
He
You
is. Yeah, and they need some size. You know what I'm
and they
saying?
needed
They
the size
they
too.
have PJ Washington, who's a good
Yeah,
big, but he isn't the biggest big. But
yeah, he's
you
a
bring
smaller. He's a smaller big, and they needed. I like their draft a lot too. I thought I question maybe the free agent moves, but
yeah, yeah.
but
But and we mentioned besides Vernon being big, he's talented. He was
he's
one of the top
talented,
players
right?
coming out. And that's what NBA, that's what you need. You're a young Charlotte
Hmm.
team you just need some talent. You need some
Yeah,
guys who are good. So like there you go.
yeah, definitely. So we talked some teams that did good. Who do you think just didn't do good out of this draft?
Let me see. Just looking at uh I'm trying to see my
I'll go. I'll go. I'll give you. I think Chicago. I just don't get it. Like I get
yeah.
it, but I don't get it because I
Hmm.
see the potential, the upside with Patrick Williams. I get it, but you know,
It's
I
a
just
reach.
feel like it felt like it was a little bit of a reach. If you took him in the teens, high lottery, mid first, I wouldn't be that upset. But to take a chance on him that early, top five,
And
where
this is
you could have took Toppin or you could have took Okoro. If they took
you could have
Okoro at
you could have
four
took Killian, man.
or Killian, I felt like or Denny, like I felt like there was just better options and guys who could contribute more. But I get it because maybe they're looking years down, but I just felt like that was just kind of a
It's
reach.
tough, and they have some pieces where you look at their team, and you're like, they could
Mhm.
make a run for the playoffs. They have some
Yeah.
good young talent. This is a job that if I was a coach or a front office person, I would love to have. They have some pieces in place.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I agree. I had their draft grade for me as a D.
Yeah.
Just because the reach for Patrick. Hopefully it pans out, and hopefully we'll be 5, 6, 7 years from now we'll be saying boy, were we done for questioning that pick.
Yeah,
Hopefully
yeah.
that's.
I hope I'm wrong. I root for
Mhm.
every single one of these guys. Drafted, undrafted. Doing this whole draft stuff has really made me root for these guys. But that was probably the one where I was like, I
Yeah,
wouldn't took him that high. Like
and
because
Utah,
that's yeah,
Utah for me when they took Azubuike, who I like,
yeah. That
they
was
took
another.
Azubuike in the
That's another
first.
one. Mhm.
Yeah.
You're right. I didn't get that really.
And they kind of made up for it taking Elijah Hughes second round. I like that pick
Yeah,
a lot. So it balanced it
I
out
would
for
have
me. But
understood Elijah Hughes in the first round over Azubuike. That would have made more sense. I would have been like, okay. I see that because he's been climbing up and he could do some stuff, but I didn't get the Azubuike thing. I think, and you know what's crazy? Like I think what did it for him was all the measurements, and people saw the vert and the wingspan. They're like, oh my god, these guys are freak that, and we all knew that, right? We all knew.
I was like, if you watch college basketball, you see he's the biggest thing on the court, no matter who is playing.
He's a monster, but I didn't see first round. I didn't see first round.
I didn't either.
I didn't either.
I honestly, like, I thought he was going to be one of those guys who would have been like an undrafted gem. I thought he was going to be one of those guys that go undrafted and signs with the right team and you know can make some noise. But hey, they apparently they really liked him, had him high on their board, and that was the pick for them. Phoenix, we mentioned them earlier. Them taking Jalen Smith threw me off. There was some people that were still available who I thought could have been, interesting for them, like a Vassell, a Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton could have been interesting with them. They could have maybe took a chance on the Maxey or something. There was some other prospects on the board. I'm just curious to see how this Smith Aiden things works out. That's why I have them kind of lower on my board.
Yeah. For sure, it's going to be interesting. And like to go back to the Azubuike thing, maybe unless they're thinking that Gobert's not there long term.
That's the first thing that popped into my head too.
That's what I thought.
I was like, is Gobert on the trading block? Are they shopping him and we don't know about it, or they're not planning to sign him to a long-term deal when his deal is up? I was thinking the same thing. So yeah, and Boston kind of threw me off too. I know a lot of people.
You know what? What is Danny Ainge doing? He has all these picks, right? Every year he has like 3, 4, 5, 6 first-round picks, and then he does nothing. You have all these assets. You have a team that's ready to win that championship, right? They got to the conference finals, and he didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing.
They took Nesmith. I like Nesmith. He's a great shooter. I'm just curious to see how he fits in their system.
Yeah, I agree.
I haven't seen him, do too much off the dribble. And when you look at Boston play, they love having guys who can make plays off the dribble, whether you're shooting or you're attacking the rim. I mean, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward, those guys can shoot and they can attack the rim.
They can attack, yeah. It's a big question with Naismith because we all know he could shoot. He could shoot the damn thing. So, but
right.
Everything
else, can he play make? Can you finish at the rack? So we're gonna find that out. And I like Peyton Pritchard as a player, but he surprised me being picked at pick 26. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how that works out. I think he's a good player, so maybe I like that pick kind of more than the Nesmith pick, just because I really don't know how he fits in this system.
Yeah. I think the Peyton Pritchard pick was good. I feel like he's a Boston guy. He's gonna fit that. Naismith's probably a little high, and then they took Yam Mater, in the second. I like Yam. I think he's a good player. I don't know if they're going to stash him away. I'm not sure if they're going to bring him here or let him stash. I'm probably better off stashing him. And
they're going to stash him because their roster's kind of limited, so they're definitely going to stash him and let him grow.
Yeah, for sure. Because they definitely need to upgrade at the backup point and all that.
And look, Peyton can come in and be that. We've seen him run the show.
Yeah, he's got handles. Yeah,
he can be your backup PG. So that's gonna be a good pick.
Yeah. I definitely thought he was gonna be like a back end first round pick, and definitely a good pick for them. I like the pick, but was there anyone that you were surprised that didn't get selected?
Oh, that didn't get selected. There were some guys who were close. Paul Reed almost didn't get selected. The Sixers scooped him up late in the second. I'm trying to think who didn't get selected. Not really. Just because his draft was all over the place. Well, you had your Miles Powell. I thought maybe Miles could have been picked.
Yeah, and the Knicks picked him up, which I was really happy that they picked him as a camp invite. So
Marcus Howards of the world, those kind of guys. But not really, man. Like we mentioned with this draft, expect the unexpected. We don't know how this thing's gonna play out. So when I saw Miles was the name for me, that I was like, dang, Miles didn't get picked. Okay. But for the most part, I was just like, wow, that's just how it's going to go. That's how it is with this draft.
Yeah, and we kind of had a feel with Miles and Marcus Howard that they might not get drafted because of their height and right. And so if they were a few inches taller, we'd be talking about them getting drafted. So we kind of had a feeling that would happen. But guys like Dotson from Kansas got picked. He went undrafted. He got picked up. Killian Tilly, Gonzaga, he got picked up. Pretty quick. I'm seeing
he's talented. If he doesn't have his injury history, he's
the
a
injury
draft
history
pick.
killed him. Absolutely killed him, man. We know that injuries killed Nathan Knight, who was a big I liked a lot.
I like Nathan Knight too.
Atlanta did work this offense.
Man, they going in, bro. They trying to make some things happen.
They're doing some good things. Mason Jones went to Houston. I think that's
okay. That's another one.
A perfect spot.
Yeah.
Perfect
space the floor and let Mason cook. You know what I'm saying? We know he can get buckets.
He likes to shoot that thing. So it's perfect spot, especially if they keep Harden and Westbrook, he might get some minutes. I
think he's gonna get some minutes. I think he will.
They need to fill out the roster because it feels like it's just Westbrook and they traded everyone.
Hey, they got a big now. They got Boogie.
Yeah, and they just got Boogie. Yeah, we'll get into that too. We got Boogie, but yeah, nothing too crazy as far as like undrafted guys. I mean, nothing. You would have liked to seen some guys, but like you said, for the most part, we expected this. We knew there was going to be guys that we expect.
I'm glad our boy Sam got drafted. Sam, he went to the perfect situation to me.
Sliding right into the next thing I want to talk about. Our guy Sam Merrill got drafted with the last. And it's crazy. I posted with the tweet. I was like, I'm not going to sleep till Sam gets drafted. And people are telling me, people are telling me, oh, you're gonna be up all night. I was like, nah, man, it's gonna happen. And then like you're getting closer, and I'm like,
hey, got the Isaiah Thomas Award, man, the 60th pick.
With the 60th pick, and everyone starts hitting me up because I guess my I was watching on the laptop. Sorry, I was a little delayed, so I get all alerts. They're like, congratulations. I was like, no, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Then I saw Sam Merrill selected. I was like, yes, because I know me and you were like, a lot of people like Sam Merrill, right? But we had him really high. Like we had him top 25. Like
top
we had
25.
Him in the same spot, like literally 25. And I think his game's gonna translate. I don't care that he's 24. He's probably gonna. I think he's gonna be 25 by the season.
Look, if you can ball, you can ball.
He can ball. He's a tough shot maker. He could shoot. He's gonna hit all his free throws. Shoot 90% from the free throw line. He's gonna be a glue piece to a team.
He can catch and shoot. He can pick and roll. He can ISO if you give it to him with time. The shot clock winding down. He has to make something happen real quick. He can exactly.
I just think I was.
They talked about people don't like him because he has like shorter arms, a little undersized, but he's going to Milwaukee. Their defensive system is so good that it's going to hide his deficiencies. He's going to be good. This is a great pick for Milwaukee. That was a great pick. That's a great pick. They needed shooting. They added one of the best in this draft. So I was ecstatic. I was just as happy as that. I was turned up.
The Knicks draft. I was turned up. Oh, so you were at the draft. You were at the draft party with
Robert Woodard.
Woodard. So
yeah,
I'm sure he was ecstatic. I'm sure he would have loved to have gone higher. But I'm. You get drafted. That's a beautiful moment.
Just talk to me about that. It was amazing. Like you see these guys put in work. I've been seeing Robert play high school ball since here in Columbus, Mississippi. So I've seen him do his thing in high school, go on to college and play well. And these guys, they put so much into this. Not just them, their families. You know what I'm saying? The AAU trips and all the dropping them off to practice in the mornings and stuff like that. So it's so beautiful to see all that come to a head and these guys get drafted and just change people's lives. You know what I'm saying? Acquire you're becoming a professional player. You're able to have a chance to make money, nice money and maybe help out your community and take care of the people you love the most. It's just an amazing thing to see happen.
Oh yeah, that's cool. And then the other Mississippi State guy got drafted too,
Hey,
Reggie
Reggie
Perry.
Perry,
So
yeah,
hope
so going to
that's
Brooklyn.
also
They on opposite sides of the country, man. One on the
yeah,
West Coast, another one your way. You know what I'm saying, on the East
yeah, yeah,
Coast.
yeah. Yeah, that's just that must be awesome for you seeing Mississippi guys, get drafted, so that's
Oh
definitely
yeah, man, they putting on for the silk. You know what I'm saying?
that's
Putting on for the state. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
The Kings and Brooklyn got some Mississippi fans.
Oh yeah, for sure. And those guys are gonna be some solid players for those teams. So
I love the Kings draft.
Kings did good too.
You
Kings
pick
did
up
good too.
Halliburton. People have had their concerns. I've had my concerns about him, but that is the perfect situation for him. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be the lead guard. Him and De'Aaron Fox, they balance each other out.
Oh
De'Aaron, the
yeah, they
speed
work.
threat. Yeah, yeah.
They work together. And a
Halliburton
lot of
can be
teams like using a lot of multiple guard sets. Like it's not just people just think, oh, you can't put 2 point guards together. Like yeah, we've seen it.
yeah.
We've seen it. So that's why I thought. That's why I thought with Billy Donovan in Chicago, that's why I thought Killian would work with Kobe. I thought that would be perfect. But that's still that's still
I thought it
messing
would
with
have
me
worked
how they
too,
didn't.
bro.
I
I thought it
thought.
would have worked too. I see Kobe as like that energizer bunny, that
Mhm,
microwave bucket. You know what I'm saying? We saw him get buckets towards the end of the season, dropping
mhm,
25 a night.
yeah.
I think he could be that guard. You bring him off the bench, and he's gonna eat your second unit
Yeah.
alive.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Definitely for sure. And I like that the Kyra pick for the
Oh,
Pelicans.
Pelicans, yeah. You know what they trying to do? He's trying to run.
They're gonna
Can't nobody
run
run like
people out
Kyra.
the gym, and his ability to break down the defense. When you got Zion coming down, man, with Ingram,
Yeah.
and you got JJ trailing. I mean,
They're a league pass team. They're
that's
gonna have
another
they're gonna be on
team.
national TV
And they
too,
still
of
got
course, because they have
Lonzo too.
Zion. But
They got
yeah,
Lonzo.
they're must watch TV. You know what I'm saying? You want to see some fun basketball, check out the Pelicans.
Yeah, there's some. I found myself liking more picks than not liking picks. In this draft, like I just thought this, like I said, it may have not been sexy this draft, but
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
still the depth in this draft is.
RJ
You go
Hampton to
look
the
back at it,
Nuggets.
yeah, like RJ Hampton went to the Nuggets, so we saw Cole go to Orlando, like. There's going to
Mm-hmm.
be some good players in this. We might. We don't know, and that's another thing. We don't. It's hard to judge. We can't judge and be like, oh, this draft sucked or whatever. How do we know?
Right.
We can go back. Like they said the same thing about 2013, right? And then guess what happened? Who was the 15th pick in the draft? We saw he wound up being a
Giannis.
two-time MVP, right?
Right.
And the number one pick was out of the league in a few years. So we don't know.
2011 draft, you get Paul George later on the draft. You know, what I'm saying late
Exactly, right?
lottery.
Exactly, right? So it's a wait and see approach. We can't judge this draft, because a lot of people don't know a lot of these guys because it's not top heavy. So,
Mm-hmm.
a few
I mean,
years
even the Pacers got Cassius Stanley at the end of the
mm-hmm.
draft. Like, what? That's a great pick for them. I mean, he's an athlete. Let Cassius play in the NBA space, and who
Mm-hmm.
knows what can happen with him. He has athleticism. He's shown he can hit the spot up, Jay. I think that's a good pick for them. Why not pick Stanley and see what happens? It's not like Indiana's going to attract free agents, so they have to make something shake in the draft. And that late, why not take a wild card on him? So I mean, it's even picks like that are really good.
Exactly. So this draft's going to be, but it's going to be interesting to see because these guys don't have not going to have a true training camp. You're not
Oh
going to
man,
have a summer league.
they already at their teams now, probably.
Yeah, they're getting ready. I saw Obi Toppin signed his contract already. He's ready to go. The season's starting real soon, so you got to get these guys going. So it's gonna be interesting to see with these rookies. But that's it for the draft as far as. So let's get into this
The
crazy
free
free
agency, the
agency,
trades,
man.
yeah, this
Like
off
the
season.
trades and all that. Like the trades that didn't happen. Like it kind of started off with that, right? Bogdan Bogdanovic is a restricted, and the reports were he's going to the Bucks, and they
Mm-hmm.
broke up the deal to get Drew Holiday from the Pelicans. Gave up, I think, like
and
crazy amount of picks, 3 first
yeah,
rounders, I
like
think, and
threes
it's like
and two
some
others.
slots. Yeah, like
Hmm.
and and then we hear that Bogdan's not going no more. He's not going. Like,
Tough,
and
tough
that's tough.
because he would have been perfect for them. Another shooter, another floor spacer, and it
That
falls
was
apart. It's tough.
yeah. That was tough because I thought adding Drew and then you add Bogdanovic, who was clutch, could hit some big time shots for you, tough shots to another tough shot
Hmm.
maker. Like he hit big shots for Sacramento. Like
Oh
he was
yeah,
at buzzer beaters. He was like from deep too, not like some bankers. Like it was like
hey,
from the
he
half
can
court
cook.
over. He could
Oh,
he
did
gets
you watch that
going.
All-Star weekend? You remember when
Mhm.
the U.S. plays the world that
Yeah,
Friday night
yeah.
game? Do you remember them threes he was hitting in that game?
He,
I mean,
yeah.
he was like one step past half court, yanking
Hmm.
them. I was like, oh, so he's like that. And then
Yeah.
since then, man, he's been doing his thing. But the Hawks, they was like, okay, Bogdan though, you trying to come over here? You trying to roll with us? You
Yeah,
ain't going to
Atlanta.
Milwaukee?
Atlanta, bro. Like they signed Gallo, right? And then
Yeah.
they're like, nope, not enough.
Mm.
We're gonna give an offer sheet. Obviously the Sacramento Kings still have time to match the offer sheet. You get 48 hours, after the off, after they get the
After you
offer
come to agreement, yeah, yeah.
sheet. So you got 48 hours. But do you think I don't think Sacramento's gonna match it. I don't think so. I mean,
That,
they
was
should
it
because
4 years?
he's a
Is it
point.
4 years, 72?
I think it's 4 for 72. That's I don't know if
That's
Sacramento's
tough.
going to do that, but
That's tough.
Atlanta's probably hoping they don't because I like this Atlanta team a lot. And what also is good is that
Yeah,
they have a lot of young pieces. So if they decide like, all right, we're really going to go after this thing, they got pieces to trade.
they
John,
do.
like
They have
they
some
took on
chips.
right. They took Onyeka, and that's another person we did mention. They took Onyeka top 10. So if they feel like, all right, we could trade Huerta or John Collins, who they might not think
Hmm.
is they want to give a big deep contract to because he's going to be up, for extension. They could trade 2, 3 of those guys and go get someone a big time all star
I'm about
to.
to say, you got like you mentioned the bigs. Kevin Herter might become
Mhm.
available if you bring in Bogdan. You have guys, you have pieces like Hunter. Of course, Hunter was their pick last year. You got
Yep.
Cam Reddish.
Cam
You got
Reddish. Everyone's gonna want Cam Reddish in every deal.
yes,
That's the first person they're gonna
yes.
mention. Like if it's Cam, then it's gonna be Collins, and then it's gonna be Hunter, and then Horton. Everyone's gonna be like, well, it starts with Cam.
It's definitely.
And so that's gonna be a big thing they're gonna have to decide if that's even.
The
I'm
route they
just
want to
saying,
take. Yeah, we're just talking. Yeah, yeah.
if that's even a thought process. But now they put themselves if they add Bogdan, like the lineups they're gonna have big lineups too, like with Trey. Like forget about and people worry about Trey's defense. You don't gotta worry about that. You got some dogs up there, some big
Man,
like and then like
the
Capella.
defensive
I'm even
lineups
thinking
was
about
saying
Capella.
like, yeah, you can have a Capella lineup or a Kongwu. You throw out Hunter, Reddish, both long.
Mm-hmm.
Herder is long as well. I mean, you got some size,
And they
man.
added Rondo
Gallo,
too.
yeah,
They
and added
added
Rondo,
Rondo.
yeah.
This team is
They're gonna make the playoffs.
oh yeah, no doubt playoff team. And
Mm-hmm.
if John Collins doesn't get suspended last year for 25 games, they might have been in the bubble. You
Yeah,
know, they
yeah,
might have been in the bubble.
yeah.
So what they've done in Atlanta, the turnaround, like everyone got on them because of the whole Luka trade, and Trey struggled a little early, so people were like, "Oh man, this is going to be an all-time bad trade." Blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
Trey came on and he balled out rest of rookie, and then last year was an all-star starter. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and he showed that trade was a good. That's a trade. We rarely see trades in the NBA that go well for both teams. It's usually one-sided or both teams just bust out. But this is a
Mm-hmm.
trade where it's going to go down as one of the most evenly
It's gonna
trade.
be super interesting.
Yeah, because
Um,
they're always going to be tied at the hip, right? Whether it's
exactly,
going to be Luka
exactly.
and Trey, they're always going to be tied at the hip, and it's going to be it's going to go down as one of the greatest trades ever that worked for both sides. Like it's not a one-sided trade. Both teams got their guy. that are the face of the franchise players, and the Hawks are doing everything possible to keep them happy, right? Because now you got to keep guys happy quick. Guys could want out after 1 year now.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
They're definitely putting the pieces in place to make Trey be as successful as he possibly can, and to not make this like we mentioned, an all-time bad trade or anything like that. These are both going to be all-star players. One ceiling might be higher than the other, but they are both going to be all-star players who are going to make noise and be in the NBA doing their thing for a long time. So it's worked out for both teams. I wonder if it'll kind of be similar to, like, is it if there was a trade back in 2003 that would have sent LeBron to somewhere for Melo? Because I can kind of see a world where Luka plays like LeBron. He's not as physical as LeBron, but as physically talented.
Yeah,
their play style is similar.
Because he's not as athletic as LeBron, obviously, but his style is
similar. How he dominates the ball and can get the ball to shooters and such forth. And then with Trey's a bucket, Melo's a bucket. So it's kind of similar like that. Something like that happened in 2003.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. Let's just hope that our Duke guy is not Darko. Marvin Bags. I still got mad love for Marvin.
Man, he's been cursed with the injuries, bro. That's all it is.
Just hope it's like a Brandon Ingram situation where Brandon was dealing with injuries, and obviously LeBron comes over. Let's hope that's the case, and he blossoms, because I still think the talent's there. I think when he played last year in the limited games he played, he balled out.
Exactly.
Exactly. Stay healthy. And
yeah.
Because it's always going to be, Ayton. Now, Ayton's, I think people are forgetting that Ayton got picked over Luka. He's starting to get a little bit more. But now it's like, damn, Sacramento took, him over Luka. And that's always going to be, he's another guy that's always going to get compared because he's been banged, he's been hurt. And, and then you see Luka and all that with all the success. So hopefully Bags gets back and balls out, because we saw him at Duke, even if at that one. And when people forget, he reclassified.
Yeah.
So he really should be like, a rookie.
He's going to be all right, man. He's got the talent. He's got the athleticism. If he can just stay healthy. The best ability is availability. If he can just stay healthy, man, he'll be straight. It'll all work out.
Exactly. So root for Bags. But was there any free agent moves that kind of like got you like, what was that? I don't know for me.
Well, man, of course, Gordon Hayward got the bag from Charlotte. He got crazy.
I went into this thinking, all right, he's got the option, right? There's no chance he's gonna decline the option. Like, he's gonna go in, because I didn't see the market where people are gonna pay him even $25 million a year. And then he opts out because you start hearing that he's going to get $25 a year. So it's like, okay, whatever. Maybe he gets a 2-year 50, all right, play, okay, whatever, play option, for the second year, or maybe get a 3-year 70, whatever. But then you hear, like, I started getting scared when the Knicks started getting involved. I was like, oh, this can't happen.
Here we go again.
I'm like, no, we can't. This isn't the same old Knicks, right? This can't be.
We just had a solid draft. We didn't trade up for,
I don't want to be like Detroit and just have a bad free agency after having a really good draft. Let's keep this high going. And then you start hearing it more, and it's like, oh, this is going to happen, right? The Knicks are going to sign Gordon Hayward for 4 years and whatever, or 4 for 70. It's like, and then you start hearing that he wants to go to Indiana, and it's like, all right, go to Indiana, yeah. And then here, Danny Ainge is getting too greedy. He wants everyone. He wants TJ Warren, and they're like, whoa. Maybe we'll give you Miles Turner. But like,
but TJ, you can't have bubble TJ.
Even Depot, like, no, what are you doing, Danny Ainge? And that's the problem with Danny Ainge. What are you doing? Just go get Miles Turner. You only need one piece like that. You need a big. Bam. They're like, all right, we'll do that deal. Yeah,
man. You already know what he's trying to do, man. Danny's trying to fleece you. He in the game of fleecing folks, bro.
But all you need is one play. You need a big like Miles Turner who could protect
that ain't the Danny way, man. He's trying to fleece
he
you.
was trying to go for the throw. He's like, nah, we want everyone. we want bubble TJ Warren.
Yeah, we want bubble
TJ. We don't want other TJ Warren. We want bubble TJ Warren. You know, like he was trying to finesse stuff.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Nah, but yeah,
that surprised me.
That surprised me because they had a good draft. They're another one of those teams, good draft, and then you just
and you know, and we talked
4 years, 120. That's $30 million a year, Chris. That's a lot of money to
for
give
someone who hasn't shown to be himself since he's been with the Celtics. You know what I'm saying? Right. He hasn't shown to be Utah Gordon, and that's what you just paid for. You paid for Utah Gordon. You didn't pay this for Boston Gordon. So, and it's tough. And I would have just liked them to throw out this young team, let them go through their lumps, and try to hit on another top pick. You know, people talked about this draft not being all that, but everybody's ready for next year's draft. There's a lot of talent in that draft. Now you put yourself in a position where, you know, we'll see if they end up being one of those lower seeds in the East, if they try to sneak their way into the playoffs because you invested this money into Gordon, and Gordon's going to try to earn his contract. So he's not going to shortchange you when he's on that court.
Yeah, I
didn't
get it.
I didn't get it either.
I didn't get it either. They've really had a good draft. Like I forgot they got Nick Richards too. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like I like this roster more than people might have liked this roster. Like I said, PJ Washington to me, you know, he balled out his rookie year, right? Malik Monk could still play a little bit. Devontae Graham, we saw what he did last year. You know, he was in the most improved. You know,
Terry Rozier is still solid.
Terry Rozier, you know, they got Jalen McDaniels. You know, Jaden's brother. You know, we drafted last year. They had some guys. They drafted Riller. They drafted Kyrie. You got Ball. You add Hayward to that, and I guess I'm just trying to I guess you want to, you know, he is a good player. It's not me disrespecting him as a player because he is a good player. He's a solid playmaker, but I just can't see. This is like giving Tobias Harris $190 million or whatever they gave him. You don't have to do that for guys that are not all-star players. I don't.
You have the leverage at this point. He hasn't been himself. Give him a prove it deal. You know what I'm saying? He wants to show that he's still Gordon and maybe can, you know, get another big contract. But
and just think and they had to waive Nicholas Batum. So essentially it's $40 million a year because now you're stretching out Batum's contract.
And I was about to say you just got off of Batum's contract. You should be, of all the teams in the NBA, you should be the one like, man, we ain't giving nobody.
I thought they were going to learn their lesson. They gave Batum that horrible contract. They waive him and just said, you know, we're just going to stretch the money. We just need you out. Just get out.
Cheap. If you ain't a rookie, we ain't spending nothing. We ain't spending nothing on nobody. We need rookies.
And you know, they just gave another bag.
They dropped the bag.
They dropped the bag. It's not unnecessary. And listen, Gordon Hayward just finessed Michael Jordan. You know, he opted out, and everyone was like, "Why did he do that?" But
he knew something we didn't.
Reason. He knew something we didn't know. He knew he was going to get that, which is crazy. I can't believe he got $30 million a year
in this economy.
A guy like that, where we see guys like Montrezl Harrell sign for mid-level, you know, guys that we thought would get more money didn't get paid. And yet Gordon Hayward got the bag. I think he might have got the most money, you know, overall.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
that wasn't an extension.
Right. That wasn't a Jason Tatum or a Donovan Mitchell.
Those guys got super maxes. That's different. But free agents, I mean, Fred got paid. You know, he got, which is, you know, deserved.
Definitely deserved. He's outperformed his money, his contract.
He drafted dude. He deserved it to get the bag. You know, he was chasing it too. And it's good when you get to chase the bag, and then it's the team that you won a championship. That helps.
And he's not gonna fall off. That's not how Fred is built. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna give you everything he's got. He's gonna earn his money.
For sure. So yeah, I mean, obviously, I think most people agree the Gordon stuff was just It didn't make sense. It just didn't really make sense. But it does make them a little bit of a better team. I will agree to that. But to me, it's 2-3 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be looking at that like, oh, Jordan, you think you just platooned yourself again? Like the platoon thing looked good at first, and then it's like, whoa, this is bad.
Exactly.
So that's we'll see. We'll see.
What Stephen A. say, this is bad.
This is
This is
bad.
very, very
Very
bad.
bad. This is bad. Like, and we might be
Yeah.
doing that in a few years for sure. So we'll see. But definitely, definitely my number one. Like, like I just don't get that for sure. Was there any free agent pickups that were low key underrated that you liked?
Yeah, I like the Clippers getting Ibaka.
Yeah, and they got him from mid level too, right?
Right. I think we saw in the Eastern Conference semis with the Celtics and Raptors, Ibaka really had some juice left. He was holding it down for them. When other guys couldn't hit shots and he was getting open looks at three, he was knocking them down, making the Celtics pay. I think Ibaka, you throw him in the lineup with the Clippers, he still has some rim protection that he brings, and we know the Clippers needed rim protection bad.
Yep.
And he's a body you could throw out there against Anthony Davis, because that's what it's all about. They're making these moves for the Lakers. It's strictly all about LA. It's not for anybody else. It's for LA, for your ADs, for your Nuggets with Jokic. That's what it's all about. So you bring somebody who can play defense and stretch the floor. And I like that a lot for the Clippers.
Yeah. That was good. And I like the Lakers, what they did. They got Trez.
They got Trez.
They got
bring in Dennis.
Yeah, they got Dennis Schroeder. They got the trade. I think they re-signed Markieff Morris.
Then they bring was Wesley
Matthews they signed.
Mm-hmm.
I like what they did. I think they put themselves in position they'll be right back there.
It reminds me so much of when the Heat made it to the finals, and that first time they made the finals. So you look at their bench, and you was like, man, the bench doesn't have too much. But that next year, and when they come back with Ray Allen and some other guys, like, the Heat done read up. They done reloaded. That's what the Lakers looking like.
And the Lakers re-signed KCP too.
Say what you want about KCP. Hey, he did his thing in the finals. You know what I'm saying? Lakers loved him in the finals. Laker fans.
Yep, he got himself what 15 million a year. He signed 3 years for 40, so he almost got himself.
Yeah, he deserved that. He did his thing this season. He played
well.
Did
him good. The bubble did him good. And even though Trez didn't get the money he probably was looking into this year, he gets to establish himself with LA, and we all know LeBron gets his guys paid. We all know that. So he goes.
He's going to be hungry. He's trying to stick it to the Clippers.
And I believe it's a 1-1. So it's a player option for the two, I believe. So, he balls out this year. Will wins the championship, whatever. He goes into free agency next year, and he'll get, hopefully he gets his 70 mil, 80 mil, whatever 60, 70, 80 mil that, he probably was looking for this year. So, you play out this year, and I'm sure, like I said, LeBron gets his guys paid. He got Tristan Thompson paid.
Yeah, they backed up the Brinks truck for Tristan. Paid, he gets everybody paid, man.
He gets everybody. Can you look at KCP? Been getting paid checks for years, man. LeBron, that's the one.
If you cool King, bro, you good to go. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You get paid for sure. So, Melo goes back to the Blazers.
It's funny you mentioned Portland. I was about to say it's not Portland. A free agency signing, but them picking up Robert Covington, man. That's what they've been needing.
Was a good pickup. That was a good pickup. They need defense because they did not play any in the bubble. They did not play any defense in the bubble
at all. And you got two ball dominant guards with Dame and CJ, which isn't the problem. If you're running the offense, you want those two with the ball in their hands. So you need somebody who can be effective and make a difference without the ball. Rocco can spot up, hit those shots. He boards up, like you said, plays great defense. He
needed a wing defender because Melo. Listen, we all love Melo, but Melo
Melo's out here to give you, 10, 12 buckets real quick. You know what I'm saying? He gonna give you all he got on
Coming off
offense.
the bench, he's going to get 15 points. He finally understands his role, which is
I'm about
what
to say he might drop 15, and then at the same token, he might give up 15. So
Exactly, for sure. All right, so Giannis. Let's talk Giannis quick.
Let's talk Giannis.
Obviously, he's got a big decision to make. He's got a lot of money coming up. That with that supermax, and we've seen guys like Donovan Mitchell sign the supermax, De'Aaron Fox, Jason Tatum, and then I think the deadline's coming up, right? I think it's coming up. I forgot the exact date. Giannis' deadline. I'll look that up as we talk. But he's got some big decisions to make.
He does.
This is a lot of money to pass up on. It's a lot of money to pass on. The money he would pass up to go somewhere. I think it's
a lot of racks.
It's like 80. It's like between 60 and $80 million he would be leaving on the table. Which I don't care how big of a star you are. Unless you're like LeBron James level, where you can go to Hollywood and you could probably make up some of that. Even LeBron James. Probably, maybe he's turned down money, so maybe not LeBron James, but anyone else not named LeBron James doesn't turn down all that money.
Especially, LeBron has a chip now, so it's easier for him to turn some money aside.
Now it's different.
Yeah,
because
when he was in that same situation,
he's in the same situation. It's crazy how it's very similar to when LeBron was in Cleveland, because there's not people who want to go play in Milwaukee. Let's face it. It's not same way people did not want to go play in Cleveland, and they straight up told LeBron, "I don't want to play. We don't want to go to Cleveland."
No, definitely. It's history really repeats itself, and we see the Bucks front office making the same type of moves that Cleveland's was back then. Forcing moves. We got to get somebody. Try to show him don't leave us. We're trying to make it happen. Stay. Don't go. We'll get you Antoine Jameson, or we'll get you Shaq. We trying. We making something happen. And the Bucks, I like the Holiday pickup, but I don't think it changes the needle. It's not gonna make Giannis be like, you know what, I'm signing Supermax. I don't think he's gonna sign it.
You don't think he's gonna sign it?
I don't think he's gonna sign it.
Ooh. I'm trying to find the deadline, but
I really don't, man.
I feel like he would have signed that thing already. There's a part of me that feels like he would have signed it already, right? Because everyone signed their Supermaxes, right?
Why wait? What's the need to wait if you know you want to sign this? Why wait?
Exactly.
The moves have been made. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's signing. And
I honestly, when we thought Bogdanovich was going there, I was like, all right, I think he's gonna sign. I think he feels like, all right, I got Drew. I got a vet like Drew, who's an all-star player, and then I got a shooter like Bogdanovich who can help make big shots. And then the whole fiasco with Bogdanovich, that falling through, I think that's tough. A lot.
It does.
That hurts a lot for him, because there's no other big deal that you could see happening. The big deal was Drew Holiday. So it's going to be interesting. I think, the Bucks are in a position where, they're stressing right now. There's a lot of stress in Milwaukee now.
Oh yes.
A lot of stress right now.
It's tough, man. And then it's gonna sound crazy, but hey, his brother got a ring, bruh. He needs his brother got a ring.
Costas got a ring,
right? He can flex on him and show him that he got a ring and everything. And so, look, Giannis, he got MVPs and stuff, but he wants a ring too. And I don't care how, I don't care how much money it is, bro. You can't put a price on the championship.
$228 million for 5 years, man. That's a whole lot of.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. He's gonna say no though. He needs that chip. He has the MVPs, plural with an S. He has MVPs. He has the All NBA accolades. He has all that. He's got the shoe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's got the shoe. He has all that stuff. He needs that chip. And if he's a competitor that I think he is, I think he really prioritizes getting that chip, and I don't know if Milwaukee's going to be the place for him.
Yeah, man. I'm just reading it right now, and it's like over the course, Giannis would make an additional $83 million in guaranteed money by signing the Supermax extension instead of signing somewhere else. $83 million. That's
Hey, we talked about
crazy.
that's more than what that difference is more than what Bogdanovich got
That's
offered.
the whole contract for someone else. That's a whole
Who's a
contract.
good
You could get
player?
that's a whole player. Like
Yeah.
that's how much money he would be leaving on the table. But like you said, he's at that level where nobody cares if he wins another MVP or he wins Defensive Player of the Year or scoring title.
He look, it's just like them dudes, man. It's like when we all know guys who are players, but like I'm talking like, what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
done dated some women, they had a few shares of dating some folks, and now they at the point like, man, I need something to come
Settle
home
down,
to.
yeah.
I'm trying to settle down. I need that one. He need that chip. He done had
Mm-hmm.
all the other stuff. He done had all the MVPs, the accolades. He needs that chip.
Yep.
And to cement his legacy. You know what I'm saying? It's getting to that point. He hears the noise. With social media era, everybody's talking. When you gonna get that chip? When you gonna get that ring? You 2-time MVP. You supposed to be the
Yeah.
man. It's that point in
He
time.
has till December 21st, so he has a whole month. The Milwaukee Bucks are going to be on pins and needles for this next month because is there a world where if he says nah, I'm not re-signing, and it's crazy to think, but
Do you trade him?
do you trade him? Because listen,
If he
LeBron
says I'm
wasn't
not
coming back to
resigning,
Cleveland.
I think so.
LeBron wasn't going back to Cleveland. KD wasn't going back to OKC, and they took the chances, right? They took the risk. Going into free agency, and they lost those guys for nothing.
It's
I
funny you
knew they
said that.
could sign and trades, but pretty essentially they didn't get them for much. So
I said that, but I think LeBron had a no trade clause
yeah,
when that came about. I'm not sure what Giannis is going to have on what it says with his deal, if he's able to be traded or not. But
mm-hmm.
if you can, and he says no to the Supermax, all right, yeah, it might be time for you to bounce, Giannis. You might, and like you said, it sounds crazy, but do you let an
December
asset
21st.
like that just walk away? You can't.
And I've said this, and people have said, "Yeah, you would have to trade." I was like, I can't trade Giannis. I can't. I have to take the risk and just see what happens this year. Because imagine trading
Do you,
Giannis.
do you think they're going to win the finals with this team currently constructed? If they met up against, or do they come out the East? Do they beat the Heat?
They're not getting past Boston or the Heat right now.
Do they
No,
beat the Nets? You know what I'm saying?
the
With
Nets are a wild card because obviously and we could get right into that next because their team is still we don't know what they're even going to look like. They have a lot of things, so the Nets can possibly be that a team that they can might not get past because the Nets can have some firepower, but it's going to be it'll be really hard to trade them. But if you're Milwaukee and you like, I think what Cleveland messed up it was not. I know it's hard to trade the king. It's hard, and he probably had a no trade clause that I don't even remember. I have to look at his contract back then, but
I'm not sure. Like we talking about Cleveland, like the
yeah,
very
Cleveland
first
the
time.
first time, yeah.
He might
He might have had something like
he
where like yo,
might
you can't
have.
trade him, yeah. And he has so much power, so he probably would have nixed even if you don't have a no trade, you ain't trading me here because then they could dictate where you go. So, but that's gonna be interesting, man. This is
It's tough to
Milwaukee.
let him walk away, man.
The
That's
state
tough.
of Wisconsin is stressed right now. They don't know what their Packers are struggling. Well, they might lose. We might have a year where they lose Aaron Rodgers and they lose Giannis in 1 year. They're stressing right now
It's tough.
in Wisconsin.
Tough,
It's
bro.
tough. It's tough, but I think it's something you're gonna have to think about. I think you'd have to think about it because if he says no, you're screwed.
It's
'Cause
it's either And you know what? They probably won't, of course, because you've gone all in on this season. You brought in Holiday. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You've made moves to have Holiday, Middleton, Giannis.
Yeah, they still got.
You got to see it through almost. I
You're gonna
It's
have
tough.
to. I
Yeah,
think
you
that
you put
I
yourself
think
in a
the
position you have
Bogdanovich
to.
is gonna be tough though, man. Like if they would have added him, I think you go for it and you just say, all right, I feel confident with this starting lineup of Bogdanovich and we got Middleton and we got Holiday, Giannis, and you could plug in whoever else. I think we feel confident, but losing Bogdan was tough. That was
Hmm.
tough. I don't know how stuff got leaked out and all that. They could have just lied as, hey, nothing. We only got nothing, blah blah blah. And they messed that up. I don't know if whoever did that, they messed up. And I've heard sounding like it's Milwaukee that messed things up. So if
Hmm.
that's the case, you can't afford to mess anything up. you
You
know?
gotta you gotta be on your P's and Q's, man. You doing moves to try to keep the franchise. I ain't talking about the Bucks. I'm talking about Giannis. You trying to keep him around. So
Exactly. It's
you hustling backwards when you leaking out stuff and you messing up.
exactly.
You messing with money now. You messing with keeping
Your
Giannis
friend,
around.
that's your money maker, right? There's number that changes not just your franchise, that changes the city, that changes the state
Hmm.
of Wisconsin.
You
That's
know,
a
people
whole, like
might.
you saw with LeBron, right? The
Hmm.
ripple effects of that. Like the city of Cleveland
The
they
economy
went to
was
like
hurt.
jobs were lost, businesses closed down because they relied so much on LeBron and they didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
star. They didn't have that backup plan, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they got left dry because they didn't have a top pick. So it's not like you go, all right, we lost LeBron, but at least we got a top 3 pick and we could build off that star. No, you had a late first round pick and you got Miami's picks. Because I remember they did the sign trade, but you got Miami's picks and they were late, so you weren't getting anyone. You know, it wasn't until
Mm-hmm.
next year after when they got Kyrie, but you're going to be in a state of flux. You're just going to be really bad, And Milwaukee's going to be in tough. It's going to be tough. They're
It
stressing
is.
right now.
It is. It's funny. I mean, because you talk about, do you trade him or do you keep him? And part of me is like, you want to see it through, but I really think you might have to. We've seen this movie play out before, like we just said with
It's literally
LeBron.
we've seen this. We've seen this before, and it's scary.
It's scary.
It's
Do you want to let
scary.
him walk for nothing?
Hmm.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's tough.
man. It's
That's
it's
tough.
tough.
It's going to be really interesting to see what they do. But Brooklyn. Let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets.
Let's talk about him.
They they're obviously KD's coming back from the
Achilles. Hmm.
Achilles injury that Clay suffered. Same injury. Uh,
Kyrie's had his
Kyrie's
issues, his
coming back
injuries.
from injuries too.
Hmm.
He's been banged up, and now there's crazy rumors. James Harden's not happy where he's at in Houston. He's trying to work his way to Brooklyn, and obviously Westbrook trade rumors have been going crazy too. Even though it feels like the market isn't there for Russ,
Hmm.
it ain't there for Harden, but it seems like the Rockets are playing hardball and not going to just allow that to happen. What?
Rightly so.
Yeah, rightfully so, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of these moves Harden requested, right? He wanted him and CP were vibing. They go
Hmm.
get Russ, and they changed their whole team because of Harden and Russ. So, what do you think? Give me a percentage of chances that opening day Brooklyn Nets have Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and
And James
James
Harden.
Harden in their starting lineup.
Ooh. Maybe 10%.
10%.
I say maybe 10. I really don't think that's the move that they're going to make if
I don't
Houston
think they
makes a
need to
move.
make that move for the Nets.
And and honestly, people have talked about. I talked about this with Mo, with our boy Mo on
Yep,
Up in
yep.
Flames
Shout
podcast.
out to
Check
Mo
that out.
VP. Shout out to the VP.
So the more time I've had to think about this, these are two. When you talk about Kyrie and James, they are two guys who really thrive with the basketball in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of mouths to feed, and it's one basketball. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden. Kyrie didn't. Kyrie didn't sign up when he was with Cleveland, and he signed his extension to be there. he signed up to be the man, and he had to
Mm-hmm.
check himself when LeBron came to Cleveland. And eventually, he got to the point where he was ready. He bounced out of Cleveland. He was ready to be the man again.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's teamed up with KD. Those two are boys, and he's cool with, okay, me and KD, we're gonna do this. Now you trying to bring Harden into the mix too?
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna work. We've seen this before with Kyrie. I'm thinking he signed with KD knowing we are going to be those guys. This is our
Mm-hmm.
team. We're gonna make this happen. I don't think he wants to be the third best player on this team. That's not how he's programmed. He wants to do his thing. Him and KD. It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
I don't care how talented those three are. It's not gonna work together.
And there's a lot of risk that's coming back for Brooklyn. Like you said, they're talking about the injuries. Like Kevin Durant's coming back from an Achilles injury, and so we don't know how he's gonna look. Right? We think that he's gonna be KD.
You assume he's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Right.
We
Be
all
all-star
want him to be
KD. Yeah.
Even though I hate the fact that he's with the Brooklyn Nets and he's not a member of the New York Knicks, but that's for a whole nother show. I won't show my sadness right now. But you still want to see KD, right? Because KD is, we all want to see the best players in the league play and perform at a high level,
for sure.
right? We want to see Kyrie play at a high level. But if they were to make that move, it depletes your roster a lot, right? You're going to deplete assets again. So now you're relying on their older players, right? James is getting there.
With injury history.
You got an injury history. James has an injury history, and you got KD coming with the Achilles, and Kyrie's banged up a lot. It's a risk you take, because if you lose KD to he hurts his leg again, and Kyrie's missing time, and it's just James and Joe Harris,
the James and Joe show.
Yeah, Joe Harris can light it up too. No disrespect to Joe, but
no, it's the reason he just got some money.
He got
this
paid
offseason.
Hey,
right,
shoot, man. Teach your kids how to shoot. That's what you get paid. Nothing, no rebounding. Shoot that thing, and you get paid. Look at Bertans, another guy, 85 million. He got paid. So shooting gets you paid, guys. So learn how to shoot. That's important. But I don't think Brooklyn needs to do this, because if you're confident that KD and Kyrie are going to be healthy, right? And you have you have LeVert, who we saw in the bubble, ball out and take his game to another level, right? And then Dinwiddie is a bucket too.
He is. A very
Allen
clutch player.
Is a good big, and you pair him up with DeAndre. They got some guys, and I don't think and they re-signed Joe Harris, which is important. Do they really need to get James Harden? Like, is it essential that you need to go?
It isn't essential, but I mean, when
I get why
when there's an MVP, where there's an MVP player saying, hey, I want out of town, I can understand why you put your nose in the mix and you sniff around and try to see what you can make happen.
Yeah, and I would do the same thing. I would sniff around and see. But to me, if I'm a Nets fan, I'm not mad if they don't get James. Like,
true.
I'm like, okay, I like the team we have now. Like, I think they can compete to get to a conference finals.
I personally don't think it's enough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think what Brooklyn has to offer would be enough. I mean, we're talking about James Harden, someone who's consistently dropped over 30 points a game, an MVP player. If I'm trading away an MVP, in the deal, I want to get somebody who has the chances of possibly returning that value. If I'm giving away MVP, I want to acquire someone who possibly could become one, which is why I say the Sixers route would be the better route.
And I was just going to mention that, because I was talking to my guy who's a Nets fan, and I was saying, is like, if I'm Houston and I put myself as the Houston GM, the Nets offer, I can maybe get some more players, some good players, but I'm trading you James Harden. I want someone I'm not saying is going to be James Harden, but I need an all-star type player in return. Like, LeVert's a good player, Dinwiddie's a good player, Allen's a good player. Those are all good players, and they could be good pieces to add to my team array if I but I need someone that's going to be is an all-star type player, and that's why
I need someone to be the man.
and
Yeah.
that's why I look at the Sixers like you mentioned, and I look at them and I'm like, if I'm getting Ben Simmons in return, and then I get a couple extra picks here and there, whatever, that's a
Ben
that's a good
Simmons,
return.
some contracts to cover the money
Yep.
and some picks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can make a deal happen. I mean, I love Ben Simmons. He's one of my favorite players in the league.
He's an all-star player.
And he just needs to be put in a situation where his talents can thrive. The teams that he's been on, they haven't been constructed for him to be his very best.
No,
I think
especially last year's team, but that was just I don't know what the hell they were doing. Like the year
nobody
before
knows what the hell they were doing.
When they went 7 with Toronto, that was a perfect team. But then they just said, no, let's just do everything the opposite.
Even before then, when Embiid was hurt for a while, a few seasons ago, and it was Ilyasova and Bellinelli playing with Ben Simmons shooting the rock.
Bellinelli was great with him.
Great with them, and we was like, wow, Ben Simmons. Okay, this is why he was the top pick. Yeah, because you give him a team and they run the break and they shoot threes. That's when you get the best.
JJ Redick was the biggest loss. I know Jimmy Butler is a huge loss, but losing JJ was huge.
Exactly, because he perfect player to play with Ben. You know what I'm saying? Shooter, come off screens. Ben's gonna give him the rock. I think if he goes to Houston and they build that thing around Ben and put him, make him the franchise guy. Mm-hmm. He could one day be an MVP. I still love Ben Simmons. I still have Ben Simmons stock. I think he could be an MVP one day. Who's to say Ben Simmons could be far off from Giannis if he was built in a situation where like Giannis is? They built that thing around Giannis. Do the same thing for Ben Simmons. There's the reason he was the number 1 overall pick. He is that talented. He could one day be an MVP.
Oh, I agree 100%. That talent's there, and I know people focus on the shooting, and obviously that's like the glaring thing. And it's kind of I feel like it's kind of like how people look like Isaac Okoro in the draft. Like they focus so much on like his lack of shooting, but he's pretty good at everything else. And not saying they're the same, but it's kind of like
I know what you're saying. It gets overshadowed. Yeah,
it gets overshadowed. And it's like, yo, like Ben Simmons is good at everything else. Like the shooting. It's weird that he doesn't want to shoot because the form's there and like I don't get it, but he's good at everything else.
He's good at everything. Yeah, I mean, he runs like besides the fact that he doesn't shoot, but he can run your offense and play defense on your best player at the same time. He's that two-way threat. He guards the other team's best player. He makes it hard for them while also operating the offense. So
16, 8, and 8 last year, and
on a team that we looked at and was like, this team is not. What the hell is this team? This isn't the best situation for Ben, and he still put up those numbers.
And knowing and we know what he's going to do. He's going to drive every play.
Yeah,
and he still shot 58%. You know
what's coming, but you can't stop it.
But he shot 58%. That's why if
with limited floor spacing.
Exactly. With no shooters around him or anything, not a lot of floor spacing. Just imagine if he just gets a little jump shot, little 14-foot, 12-footer, something just respectable. It's just he could be an MVP player. He could be a triple-double dude.
He's an all-star now, but I still see like 2. Like he could take his game up to like 2 notches. Like it's not even just 1 notch. He can go up. He can go up a couple notches. You know what I'm saying?
He could be a 20-10. He could be a triple-double dude, and lead the league in steals. And the potential is still there.
It's still scary, right?
He's only 23. It's crazy how young.
It seems like he's been around. He's been around for a minute.
This is gonna be year 5. He's 23, and it's like with Brandon Ingram. Like looking at him, like he's like it feels like he's like 8 years in the league, and it's like, oh, he's only 22. Like Brandon Ingram is in what I think he's in year 4 too, right? He was in the same draft.
That's the thing with these guys, man. Like they come in the league so young. Like we got to give people a chance to come into their own. Same thing with Oladipo. It took him a few stops, but he finally came into his own. These guys be so young.
Let him be free. It's all about the system too, right? Because we look at Depot, right? He goes to Orlando, and let's Orlando, it just seems like no matter who the coach is, they can't figure these young guys out. Like
Mm-hmm.
it just seems
Mm-hmm.
like the young guys just go there to die. He goes to Oklahoma City, right after KD, KD
Yeah.
leaves and
Gets iced out by Westbrook,
I
saying
stopped
it
the
was
West, and then
Westbrook's show.
people are like, all right, maybe he's just gonna be a good NBA player. Then he goes to Indiana, and then boom, just absolutely takes over. And we saw what he did against that in that first round series against LeBron. Goes absolutely
Going toe
crazy.
to
Where
toe with him.
people are like, yo, Depot is here. And then obviously the injuries have hurt him the last, year and a half or so. But, it's all about, where, it's important. It's very important to
It
make
takes time.
big
Take time to
decisions
fit.
and develop, right? Because if you go to a situation where that's why sometimes it sucks with the draft is like you see guys go to a team, and you're like, oh, he's just set up to fail. It's
Yep.
like with Okafor, our guy Okafor in Philly, he got
Mm-hmm.
set up to fail. The fact that they took him made no sense. And then year one, he
They kept
balls
taking
out.
big after big. It was Nerlens,
Year one, he
Embiid,
balls out.
Okafor.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
year one, he balls out. He's 17-7. And then they just said, we ain't gonna play you.
You're old school, man. You 2000.
You're old school. Like
Yeah.
we got Embiid. This is who we really want. I was like, why the hell did you draft him?
You were the placeholder. You used the top 5 pick on the placeholder.
You drafted this dude top 3 just to be like, nah, we ain't gonna play you because he could play. We see he could play.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's always that's why it sucks when sometimes we know these guys are set up to fail where they go, but
That's the league, man.
it's the
It's a
league,
business.
man.
It happens. Yeah.
It's a hard knock life, for these guys. But it's going to be interesting to see how Giannis, the whole, he's got a month to decide whether he's going to re-sign. We saw a lot of guys get paid. Jason Tatum got the bag. Our Duke guy
Oh
got
yeah,
the
yeah.
bag.
For sure. Love that. That's my boy
Yeah,
right
he
there.
got paid. Mitchell got paid.
Mm-hmm.
De'Aaron Fox got paid.
Yeah, there goes those trade rumors.
Yeah,
Folks is talking crazy, talking about Fox gonna get traded possibly.
yeah, we heard. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks. I heard that for like 2 years already. That's not happening now. I don't care. The CAA connects. Those are
Yeah.
those are done. We're not getting them. But
No, he's gonna be in Utah at least another 3 seasons. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Maybe toward the end of the extension, if things aren't going this way, you might hear some rumblings and force his way out. But he's going to be in Utah for a good little minute now.
Oh, yeah. And they clearly picking him over Gobert.
Definitely. The right move.
That's you definitely pick him over Gobert in any situation. But, guys got paid, and we saw some crazy stuff at free agency, and the Knicks didn't do anything crazy, which is, for the first time, a good thing.
Yeah. Y'all ain't just blow the bag. Y'all did good.
This time last year, I was depressed. I couldn't watch anything because it was like, man.
Y'all signed every power forward on the market.
We signed all the power forwards possible that couldn't space the floor at all. We got the same player 4 times over. And we were just depressed because we lost out on everything. We lost out on KD, Kyrie. They go to Brooklyn of all places. And it's a different feel this year. This year, it's like we didn't do nothing much.
You drafted somebody who could be on the floor with Mitchell Robinson at the same time.
Yeah, I think the biggest signing, was getting Ed Davis, getting 2 second-round picks, and then flipping him to get another second-round pick. That might have been the best move we made. We got Austin Rivers on a friendly, 3 for 10, 10
It's
mil.
A very friendly deal.
That's a very good deal. We bring back Elfrid Payton, for 1 year, 5 mil. Like I said, they drafted pretty good. Getting Miles Powell as an undrafted free agent is good. They also added who's the center from what's his name? He used to play for the Sixers. OKC too. Pelicans. Big man. Nerlens Noel.
Yeah.
They signed Nerlens to a 1 year deal, 5 mil. So they did what I thought they should have done last year, like when they struck out. Not just get guys to get guys. Like, hey, we struck out on
not just spend money just because you got it. You know what I'm saying?
And I wish they would have done it last year, where they just said, let's not just throw money at Julius Randle just to throw
Hmm.
and we didn't get no one. Let's just
Give folks 1 year contracts, 1 2 year deals, and give yourself a chance.
yeah,
Moving forward again.
yeah, just give yourself flexibility. I know it gets old with the Knicks as far as cap flexibility because we hear it every year and nobody ever goes to the Knicks. But do you want to be in a position where you sign guys like Gordon Hayward and these guys who aren't like, Tobias Harris, and I always go back to Tobias Harris, and
That's
he's a
that's
New
an all
York
time
guy.
bad contract.
Yeah, it's just like you don't sign guys like that just to sign them, right? And it's like those guys aren't all-star players. Like if we're talking all-star players, then it's different. But guys like that giving that outrageous contracts is just silly. Like I just don't. Who are you? Who was Jordan bidding against? He was bidding against himself.
Exactly.
I
No.
even the Knicks were like, we're good. And when the
That should have been the cue to the MJ. Hold on
should be
now. Am,
like,
am I thinking this through?
yeah, if the Knicks are like, no, we're good, like, you can have them. Like that, don't that tell you like, all right, well, we're doing something
Yeah.
wrong here. Like,
Right, right. We
Mitch
got a
Kupchak
little too
couldn't
much
tell,
dip on our chip, man. We might need
yeah,
to ease
like
up.
Mitch Kupchak couldn't tell him like, yo, like Jordan, I know you to go, but we got to go somewhere else. But we got some good, we got Bridges here, we got some
Hmm.
guys here. We got the Twins here, like. And I'm just happy the Knicks didn't make any crazy decisions
But
and sign guys long term.
yeah, I mean, you mentioned, give yourself flexibility and it becomes an old, same old type of deal. But in
Mhm.
that meantime, draft well. You draft well and continue to give yourself, cap room, be a player in free agency. Free agents will see, dang, okay, they got that young kid. He's really becoming
Mhm.
something. I think I want to go
Developing your
team up
guys.
with him. Yeah. So draft well in the meantime, and it will work out.
Exactly. And let's hope this is the start because getting RJ last year was big. And then the year before, obviously, they took Knox, and that hasn't worked out, but they took Mitchell Robinson.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
you didn't hit in the first round, but you hit in the second round. You took a
Hmm.
guy who probably would have been a first round pick
Has first round talent,
who had he
definitely.
played in college, right? Because people
Hmm.
forget Mitch didn't play college that year. I think he's supposed to go to like Central Michigan or something like that.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, uh, so he didn't play. So essentially, you got a first round pick in the second round because he definitely would have been a first round pick. And then you get RJ last year. You build off that, and Bradakis they have also, from who they drafted in the second round last year. So that's another guy you could potentially have as a shooter this year. And then you get Obi this year, you get Quickly, and then you add a Miles Powell who could possibly, make the roster.
Hmm.
They got some pieces,
Got some
and
pieces, yeah.
you still got Knox and Ntilikina, and obviously, they haven't lived
And
up
it
to
hasn't
their
been the best
potential.
situation for young guys. Now
Yeah.
you're putting guys in positions to succeed. You're bringing
Hmm.
in some shooters. You got some space, and maybe Knox can develop this season
Hmm.
and show why he was a lottery pick.
Yeah.
So like you
So
said, man, it's gonna be better for y'all.
I hope so, and I think right now, most Knicks fans are feeling good. And it's weird to say that we're feeling good when our biggest signing was, like I said, signing Ed Davis and flipping him to get 3 second round picks. But no, I think this is what a lot of Knicks fans wanted, and it feels right. It feels like they're doing something right. They're not just, like I said, not just throwing out
You're not
money.
you're not gonna always hit the home run. Sometimes,
Exactly.
what I'm saying, you gotta have some singles.
Yeah, and in a free agent class like this one, where let's face it, it was Anthony Davis, and we all know Anthony Davis wasn't going anywhere. It's one thing if Anthony Davis was truly a free agent, like we all know he's a free
Yeah,
agent
the
now. Like,
the the free agent was Gallinari. This was,
yeah,
what I'm
like the
saying.
top free agents was Gallo and Fred Van Vliet and guys
Hmm.
like that. Like,
Hmm.
do you really want to throw money at guys like that? Like, if the Knicks were in a better, like if they were like where Atlanta was, like, and they just needed a few more pieces, like they had the talent around them. I think
Hmm.
you could go after a Fred VanVleet, like I think they were Gallinari, and they were
Hmm.
like the Knicks would have, but they're still not nowhere close to that. So you know, We'll see what they do. Brandon Ingram's still a restricted free agent. Wonder what the Pelicans will do with him. I'm sure they'll
Oh
match.
yeah, they're gonna
They gonna
definitely
match that.
they're gonna pay him for sure.
Yeah, sure. So it's gonna be interesting to see it. So, is there anything else you want to talk about before we sign off?
I think that's everything, man. This was fun. Just chopping it up. You know what I'm saying? This that barbershop talk, just talking hoops, you know what I'm saying, having a good time.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything else to hit on, man. We hit on
I think
draft, free agents,
we
everything.
hit on a lot of things. Obviously, there's always things that are brewing.
I mean, if we keep hitting on stuff, we'll be on this thing for 3-4
We could
hours.
do three. I think we could be on this for 3-4 days. Had we done this last week, we would have been on all night. There's no way.
Right.
From the draft to all that, we'd have been up all week. We could do a week straight.
Man, would have had some coffee on the side.
Yeah, my eyes have been like this, but this was fun, bro. Always good chopping up with you and talking hoops and all that draft.
Same.
The show. So this was fun. But you got any projects coming up in the works?
Just I'm going to drop a podcast soon. I'm gonna keep the podcast rolling. So everybody check out my podcast. Check up with Chris Bolton. We've hit on some things right here with the live stream. I'm definitely going to talk about some draft, even some next year's draft, the upcoming season.
Ooh, next year's draft. We got to get into that.
Next year's draft is going to be nasty, man. It's going to be
next
great.
Classes, man,
crazy.
Special
franchise
stuff.
players. Yes,
blue chip franchise, legit. True blue chip.
So yeah, we're gonna hit on all that. The upcoming season. The season's right around the corner.
It's around the block. The block.
Weeks away, not months. Weeks.
Literally weeks. What? 2 weeks? Like December 11th?
That's when preseason starts.
Yeah, December 11th. So yeah, we're 2-3 weeks away from seeing
so yeah,
NBA action.
So yeah, y'all check out the podcast. I'll have an episode coming soon later on this week. And that's everything. You know what I'm saying? That's about it my way.
Awesome. Yeah. And you can catch me off the ball pod. All podcast platforms you can listen to it on, all social media, off the ball pod. I just had a show with my guy Max Van Auken.
Yeah. I checked it out.
He did some dope stuff with Rashad Phillips and my guy Zach Ramy. They did some stuff for their platform.
The draft show.
They did that draft show, which is really dope. That was so cool, and they were able to have that platform. That was really dope. Maybe we could get on that level one day.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. I feel it. With all the draft stuff we did this, it's coming. But that's definitely dope. They were able to do that. So yeah, that was up. That was that debuted today on Dash Radio on Nothing But Net channel, and then the podcast is out. You can listen to that on any podcast platform you like listening on. But Chris, this was a pleasure, my brother.
Man, same. I love it. Appreciate it, bro. It's always good, like you said, just chopping it up with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
This what we do. We'll hit each other up and text when something goes down. Like, bro, you see this?
Yeah, bro. We always like. I think you texted me the
Sam Merrill.
The Sam Merrill. No, but you hit me up on the trade, the Drew trade. I literally did the draft show. I did the draft show, and I was shocked. But I knew something was gonna happen. But I was like, nah, I gotta go to sleep. And then I looked at the next day, and I literally fell asleep. And a minute later, you hit me. I was like, yo, Drew Holiday. I was like, oh, damn, I missed it. But it's always something going on. I'm sure more stuff's gonna be going on as the day.
There's gonna be another move, man. We're gonna be talking about some more craziness going on here. So
I think there's something brewing big.
It's a little too quiet in the streets.
It's too quiet right now. We haven't said anything for a while, other than Gasol going to the Lakers or whatever. Some low key.
Right.
I'm sure we'll have more stuff to start, and we'll be back on chopping it up more. But on that note, this was a pleasure, brother. You be safe.
Oh, yeah. Same. You too, bro.
Appreciate everyone for watching and listening. This is always fun, and make sure to check out Off the Ball Network too. Dope stuff on there. Yeah, OTB. Go check out all the work. We pull out a lot of content today, so go check that out. Offtheballnetwork.com. for all that stuff. But on that note, guys, be safe.
Holla at y'all.
Wear your mask. Wear your damn mask so we can get to some sporting events. All right. Take care, guys. Peace.